My best buddy Rick and I were out hunting when we suddenly heard some strange noises. After looking around carefully, I spotted an elk. Just as I was about to take the shot, his son Carl started walking slowly toward the elk. This was his first time seeing an elk. To satisfy his curiosity, we stayed put and watched him walk toward it step by step. But just as he got close to the elk, an accident suddenly happened. No! Rick grabbed his son and ran frantically forward. If he doesn't get treatment soon, he's going to die. At that moment, Rick turned back and shouted anxiously,
"How far? How far?
That way! Hey, Herschel! Talk to Herschel, he'll help your boy!"
This guy next to me is called Otis. He's the one who accidentally shot Carl just now. Rick kept carrying his son and running desperately forward. He finally saw the place Otis had mentioned. Then Herschel and his family immediately came out. He asked if the kid had been bitten by a walker. Rick said his son was accidentally shot by Herschel's people. Herschel immediately had Rick bring the child inside. His family quickly prepared the medical supplies. Then they immediately started working on Carl. Rick was beside himself with worry. I watched my best friend looking so heartbroken. I encouraged him to stay strong. Then Herschel opened the door and came in. He said Carl's injuries were very serious. He needed surgery as soon as possible, but they didn't have the medical supplies needed for surgery, since Carl might need a blood transfusion at any time. Rick had to stay here at all times. At that point, I decided to go alone to find the medical supplies at a nearby hospital.
Doc, why don't you do me a list, draw me a map?
You won't need a map. I'll take you there. Ain't but 5 miles.
Otis, no.
Honey, we don't have time for guesswork, and I'm responsible. I ain't gonna sit here while this fella takes this on alone.
So Otis and I immediately got in the car and prepared to leave. We successfully arrived near the abandoned hospital 10 kilometers away. Then we carefully observed the situation around us. Fuck! There were countless walkers here. The entrance was also occupied by a group of walkers. We couldn't get through there at all. Night was about to fall. I quietly crawled into a police car. After opening the trunk, I found some flares. It got completely dark. We threw the flares into the distance. All those fucking walkers were completely drawn away by the light, so we took the opportunity to quietly rush into the medical room. Then we stuffed the needed medical supplies into our backpacks as fast as possible. Things were going very smoothly, but just as we were about to leave, those walkers had already returned to their original positions. We had no choice but to run like crazy. Countless walkers were chasing us from behind. Since Otis was pretty heavy, he ran slowly. We were quickly surrounded by walkers. I immediately broke the glass and got inside the hospital. Then we quickly pulled down the security door. But those fucking walkers were too crazy. The security door couldn't stop them at all. We had no choice but to run upstairs. Finally, we hit on the bookshelves on the second floor. There were countless walkers below the shelves. At that point, I suggested escaping through the window next to us, but he said he was too fat to get through there. To give me enough time to escape, he decided to be the decoy. We agreed on a meeting point. He immediately handed me the backpack. Then he jumped straight down. All the walkers were frantically chasing him. I quickly ran toward the window. Then I broke the glass. But just as I was climbing out the window, a walker suddenly appeared and grabbed me. I quickly pulled out my gun and took out the walker, but I fell hard to the ground. My leg was also seriously injured in the fall. I could only endure the intense pain and keep running. But when I got to the agreed meeting point, I didn't see Otis anywhere. I thought Otis might have already been killed. At that moment, 3 walkers came charging at me. I leaned against the chain link fence, ready to go down fighting with them. But that walker suddenly fell down. Turns out Otis was still alive. I quickly helped support each other as we walked toward the car. But the chain link fence behind us couldn't stop those crazy walkers at all. We could only run while turning back to shoot. Both of us were injured, and we were almost out of bullets. We might all die here, so I made a difficult decision.
I'm sorry.